She tore his uniform in anger, but froze when she saw what was underneath. Aliens of many shapes and sizes moved about, each carrying out their duties, yet all eyes seemed to turn toward him. He had grown used to being watched, but today it felt different. Today, the scrutiny carried anger, expectation, and judgment. Valith, the alien commander of the station, floated down from the observation deck with her usual grace. Her scales shimmered under the cold lights, and her eyes, sharp and amber, locked on Elia's with a piercing intensity. She was proud, commanding, and feared by almost everyone in the station. For weeks, tensions had been rising, but Elia's had not expected her fury to reach this point. "Elia's ward," Valith's voice cut through the hum of activity. It was harsh, commanding, and carried the weight of authority that left no room for argument. "Explain why the transport mission failed. Why were the supplies not delivered on time?" Elias took a slow breath. He had anticipated this confrontation. He knew it was not just about supplies, it was about respect, or the lack of it. "Commander Valith," he began, keeping his tone steady, "there was an unexpected gravitational anomaly near Sector 7. The transport ships were delayed by unavoidable interference." Valith's eyes narrowed. "Excuses. You claim humanity is reliable, yet your officer fails in the simplest tasks." Her voice rose, echoing through the chamber. "You are a disgrace to your species and to this coalition." Murmurs spread across the room. Aliens whispered to one another, their voices a mixture of curiosity and judgment. Elias felt the weight of hundreds of eyes on him, and yet he did not flinch. He had faced worse threats in his life, from hostile worlds to deadly storms on uncharted planets. Yet this was different. This was personal. Valith's hands flexed, and with a sharp movement, she stepped forward. "You will stand here while I show you what your failures look like." Before Elias could react, she grabbed the front of his uniform and tore it open with surprising strength. The room gasped. Many aliens stepped back, unsure how to react. Elias froze, but not from fear. He had seen anger before, he had been in worse situations, yet he had not expected the reaction that would come next. Valith froze, her eyes widened. Her scales seemed to shimmer even brighter. She stepped back slightly, releasing the uniform. The movement caused the torn fabric to hang loosely, but it revealed what no one had anticipated. Beneath Elias' uniform were layers of scars, strange embedded markings, and a faint glow from thin lines of human technology embedded under his skin. The silence in the room was deafening. The whispers that had been murmurs became sharp, questioning murmurs. Aliens who had spent years in military service stared in disbelief. None had seen anything like this on a human before. What is this?" Valith whispered, her voice betraying a hint of awe beneath the anger. Elias slowly raised his hands, palms outward, signaling calm. "Commander, this is not decoration," he said quietly. "It is what it is, my past and humanity's history." Valith's eyes, once filled with fire and contempt, now held uncertainty. Her mind raced to understand. Aliens of her species were proud of their bodies, their strength, and their technology. They had never considered that humans could carry so much hidden within themselves, so much experience, survival, and capability. "Explain yourself," Valith demanded, though the sharp edge in her tone was now mixed with curiosity. Elias nodded. "Very well," he said. "I will not hide it. I'm a human who has faced the worst the galaxy can throw at us. Each mark, each line under my skin is proof that humanity survives. We survive what others think impossible." Valith stared, unable to fully comprehend his words. Her species had seen humans as weak helpers, not fighters. She had looked down on them for decades, and now the truth was visible, undeniable, and shocking. Another officer, an alien historian named Calith, stepped forward. His voice was careful, respectful, and filled with a rare excitement. "Commander, these markings, they match the legends of human warriors who survived battles thought to be impossible. Legends say humans can endure extreme environments, survive attacks that destroy entire units and still stand. Are you one of them?" Elias nodded once. "Yes, I am part of that legacy. Humanity has fought wars that almost wiped us out. We adapted, survived, and endured. We hid it to avoid fear, not to deceive." Valith's mind struggled to process it. She had spent her life observing humans, instructing her officers that humans were helpers at best. She had never imagined such resilience. And here in front of her was proof, not in stories or records, but on the very body of a human standing calmly, almost defiantly before her. The murmurs among the other officers grew louder. Some were shocked, others were curious. No one knew what to do, but everyone knew one thing. Humanity had hidden depths no one had imagined. Valith, though shaken, tried to regain control. "You dare to hide your true strength while pretending to be weak?" she asked, her voice tense. "Why would humanity do this?" Elia's eyes met hers. "Because, Commander, strength without control brings fear. Humanity wanted to survive, not intimidate. We chose restraint. But now you know why we should never be underestimated." For a long moment, no one spoke. The hum of the machinery seemed louder than ever. Even Valith felt the weight of the room's attention shift. The human who had been mocked and insulted was no longer just a helper. He was a symbol of a species that had survived against all odds, quietly and deliberately. Valith took a deep breath and stepped back. She struggled to hide her awe. Elias had not shouted, not bragged, not challenged her authority directly. He had simply stood there calm, letting his body and his history speak for themselves. Finally, she said, almost reluctantly, I did not know." Elias' expression softened, but he did not smile. "Few do, Commander. Few understand humanity until it is too late to ignore." The room began to settle. Aliens whispered among themselves, some taking careful notes, some staring openly at the human before them. It was clear to everyone that a new understanding had begun. This was not just a human officer with experience. This was a living testament to human endurance and resilience. Valith, still struggling to regain composure, gestured for the torn uniform to be fixed. "Repair it," she said, her tone softer though still commanding. "You may keep it on for now." Elias nodded and quietly allowed the uniform to be restored. He had expected that the immediate anger might fade, but he knew the impression he had left would not. The entire station had witnessed something unexpected. Humanity's hidden strength was no longer a secret. As the officers returned to their duties, whispers and quiet discussions continued. Some debated the meaning of Elias markings. Others wondered what humans might be capable of if pushed beyond their limits. One thing was certain: no one on the station would ever underestimate him or his species again. Elias turned to a quiet corner of the station, away from the prying eyes and whispers. He touched the markings on his arm, feeling the faint hum of the embedded technology beneath his skin. Each scar, each line, told a story of survival, of battles endured, of lives saved, and hardships overcome. He had worn these marks in silence for years, hidden beneath the fabric of his uniform, waiting for the moment when they would matter. Today, they had mattered, and Elias knew, deep in his bones, that this was only the beginning. The galaxy had underestimated humanity for too long, but from this day forward they would remember. He straightened his back, walked past the murmuring officers, and returned to his station. Calm, composed, and ready. Because what the galaxy had seen today was not the limit of human strength. It was only the first glimpse, and the humans were far from finished. The command station hummed with quiet tension. Even after the incident with Valith, the whispers did not fade. Aliens moved through the corridors with cautious glances toward Elia's ward, their curiosity growing with each passing moment. No one had ever seen a human like him before, not with such visible proof of survival etched directly into his body. Elias sat at his workstation, calmly reviewing reports from the transport mission. His hands moved over the holographic display with practiced ease, but his mind was alert. He knew the display of his scars had changed everything. Humans were no longer invisible to the Coalition. They were now mysterious, dangerous, and fascinating. Valith approached again, her steps measured and deliberate. Her face carried an expression that Elias had not seen before, confusion mixed with reluctant respect. She did not speak immediately, only studied him. Finally, she asked, "Tell me, Elias Ward, what are these markings? Why does your body bear what no human should survive?" Elias paused, knowing the truth could not be hidden any longer. "Commander, these are not mere marks. Each scar, each embedded line, tells a story. They are the record of battles my people have faced and survived, wars that nearly ended humanity. Technology and endurance are embedded into us to ensure survival. What you see is proof that humans adapt, endure, and overcome." Valith's eyes widened. She had always been proud of her species, the sharpest warriors and strategists in this sector of the galaxy. Yet here was a human who had survived far beyond what she had ever imagined. "You survived wars?" she asked, her voice softening. "Wars meant to wipe out your entire species," Elias nodded. Yes, and humanity survived. We endured extreme climates, hostile worlds, and enemies who thought we were weak. Each of these scars is a reminder. Each embedded line is a tool, technology we developed in response to the threats we faced. Humans are not built to be fragile. We are built to survive. Valeth's gaze fell to his arms, which glowed faintly under the station's lights. Thin lines of biotechnology traced paths beneath his skin. They pulsed subtly, almost like veins carrying light instead of blood. Her instincts told her these were more than decorations. These were systems that gave humans extraordinary endurance, strength, and resilience. "This is unbelievable," Valeth whispered. Her usual composure faltered. She had never imagined that the so-called support species of the coalition could carry such hidden power. For decades, humans had been underestimated, dismissed, and kept on the periphery of important operations. And now the truth was visible. Elias leaned back slightly, letting her reaction sink in. Most humans hide it. We do not boast of strength because the galaxy fears what it does not understand. Humans adapt quietly, endure silently, and act when necessary. Until today, no one has forced me to reveal this. The murmurs among the other officers grew louder. Calith, the alien historian, stepped forward, his voice careful and filled with excitement. "These markings, they are identical to the ones described in ancient records. Humans who survived against impossible odds, humans who endured annihilation-level attacks." "I never thought I would see one in person," Elias nodded. "I am one of them, and what you see is not the limit. Humanity has survived disasters that would have destroyed most civilizations. We fight, we endure, and we survive. Not for glory, not for recognition, simply to exist." Valeth's pride and anger had not disappeared entirely, but they were now accompanied by something else: respect. She had confronted a human she believed weak, only to discover a strength far beyond her imagination. She struggled to regain her composure, to assert her authority. "You dare show your true strength in my presence," she said, her tone firm but uncertain. "And yet you do not explain yourself fully." Elias' expression remained calm. "I have explained what I can. Humanity's past is long and much of it is hidden. We choose to reveal only what is necessary. What you see now is only a fragment of what humans have endured." Valeth's gaze traveled across the room. Other officers were whispering, some in awe, some in disbelief. No one could argue against the evidence before them. The stories they had heard about humans were true, only they had never imagined the reality. Suddenly, a communication alert sounded. The station's sensors had detected an anomaly outside the main sector. A series of unknown ships were approaching at high speed. Their energy signatures were unfamiliar, but their approach was aggressive. Valeth's eyes sharpened. "Unknown ships," she said. "Identify them." The response came quickly. "Commander, they are not responding to hails. Their formations suggest coordinated attack patterns." "They are hostile." Elias' posture changed subtly, though his voice remained calm. "Commander, if these ships are attacking, they underestimate what this station can withstand, and they certainly underestimate the humans aboard it." Valeth looked at him, astonished. "Do you mean you are capable of fighting them?" Elias nodded. "Not alone, but humans have always fought when necessary, and we are not limited to what you think is possible." The room's tension shifted. The whispers became discussions of strategy. Aliens who had previously mocked humans now studied Elias closely, unsure what capabilities he possessed. Valeth realized that the balance of power in this room had subtly changed. The human she had sought to shame had become a symbol of unexpected strength, of hidden potential. Elias rose from his station and moved toward the observation deck. His scars and technology glimmered faintly under the lights, and his presence commanded attention. "Commander Valeth," he said, "if this attack escalates, humanity will act. You may have underestimated us before, but that will not happen again." Valeth studied him for a long moment. Her pride bristled at the thought of being shown up by a human, yet she could not deny the truth. "Very well, Elias Ward, show me," she said, her voice tight. "Show the station what humanity is capable of. But know this, you are under my command. I will not allow reckless actions." Elias nodded, acknowledging her authority but not diminishing his own confidence. "Understood, Commander, but know this as well. Humans do not fail easily. And when we act with purpose." The alien officers and crew watched closely as Elias activated a small device embedded in his wrist. Thin beams of light traced across his body, connecting with the embedded lines beneath his skin. Sensors on the station began to read faint signals, strange pulses of energy that were unlike anything the aliens had seen before. What is he doing?" one officer whispered. "He is enhancing himself," Calith replied, awe in his voice. "This is human technology fused with the human body. I have read of it, but seeing it is different." Elias' movements were deliberate, precise. Each action activated systems that increased his endurance, strength, and reaction speed. Valith felt a shiver run through her scales as she realized the implications. Humans had not only survived unimaginable dangers, they had integrated technology into their very bodies to push beyond natural limits. Suddenly, the unknown ships outside accelerated, closing in on the station. The tension in the room spiked. Aliens scrambled to prepare defenses, but fear was visible on many faces. Humans, once considered weak and dependent, now stood as a calm and composed counterpoint. Elias turned back to Valith. "Prepare the station for their arrival," he said. "I will lead the initial response." Valith's pride bristled, but she could not deny his capability. "Do it," she commanded, "and Elias, do not fail." Elias' gaze met hers, steady and unflinching. "Commander, humanity does not fail." As alarms blared and the station braced for conflict, the crew began to realize something profound. They had never truly known humans. They had seen only the surface. But now the truth was undeniable. Humans were capable of endurance, courage, and strength beyond expectation. They were not just support, they were a force to be reckoned with. The whispers in the corridors turned into cautious conversations. Aliens who had doubted humans now looked to Elias for guidance. Valith herself could not deny the reality unfolding before her. The human she had intended to shame was now standing as a symbol of hidden power, and the galaxy would not soon forget it. Elias moved through the command station, calm, composed, and ready. The unknown ships were approaching, but he did not hesitate. Each step he took reinforced the unspoken truth. Humans were underestimated at their peril, and the galaxy had begun to realize it. The alert lights of the command station pulsed with a steady, urgent rhythm. The unknown ships hovered at the edge of the sector, their movements deliberate and threatening. The entire station was on high alert. Aliens rushed to man their stations, preparing defenses, weapons, and shields, but their movements carried a mix of tension and fear. Elias Ward stood near the center of the command bridge, his hands resting lightly on the console. His calmness contrasted sharply with the flurry around him. His scars glimmered faintly beneath the station's lights, and the thin, embedded lines of human technology pulsed with energy. Every officer in the room could see that he was not just a human. They could see that he was extraordinary. Valith approached him, her expression still a mixture of awe and disbelief. "Tell me, Elias," she said, her voice quieter now, almost hesitant. "How did humans survive what no one else could? You speak of wars that nearly ended your species. Why was this hidden from the rest of the galaxy?" Elias' eyes met hers. He did not look away, did not hesitate. "Because, Commander, fear is dangerous. Humans have survived countless threats, but our strength can be misunderstood. If the galaxy knew the full extent of our past, some might have tried to destroy us preemptively. We hid it not to deceive, but to survive, to endure quietly until we were ready." Valith's gaze lingered on him. She had always assumed humans were simple and weak, helpers, not warriors. And now this one human stood as living proof of what she had underestimated. "And these markings," she gestured to his arms, "they are all real?" Elias nodded. "Each scar, each embedded line tells a story. They record battles, losses, victories, and survival. They are both memory and tool. Human technology is built into our bodies, enhancing our endurance, our reflexes, and our capacity to survive in conditions no one else could endure. Humanity survived where other civilizations failed, and we continue to adapt." Calith the historian stepped forward, his eyes wide with curiosity. Legends spoke of humans surviving near total extinction. Entire fleets lost, planets destroyed, civilizations shattered. I thought it was myth, exaggeration, but it is true. I never imagined a living example. Elias nodded again, calm but firm. My people survived unimaginable disasters, both natural and artificial. We survived hostile planets, deadly storms, and attacks that would have destroyed entire species. We evolved technology to work with our bodies so that survival was possible, but we did not display it. We hid it beneath our clothes, our manners, and our silence. Valith's mind raced. For decades, humans had been underestimated, dismissed, and used as labor and support in the coalition. She had always believed this was their place, that their species was fragile and unremarkable. Now, she realized how wrong she had been. Humans were not just survivors, they were warriors, strategists, and innovators. They had hidden their strength with purpose. Suddenly, the station's sensors picked up an unusual signal. The unknown ships were changing formation, moving closer to the station. Their energy signatures suggested advanced weaponry, systems unlike anything the Coalition had encountered. Panic flashed briefly across the bridge, but Elias remained composed. "Commander Valith," he said calmly, "these ships are aggressive, but they underestimate the humans aboard this station. Their attack patterns suggest arrogance, not skill. We can defend ourselves and respond strategically." Valith studied him, astonished. "You are confident?" she asked, struggling to reconcile her previous assumptions with the reality before her. Elias nodded. "Confidence is not arrogance, Commander. Humans survive by understanding threats, predicting outcomes, and acting decisively. We do not panic. We endure and we adapt." The room fell silent. Every officer could feel the shift. Aliens who had mocked humans now looked at Elias with a mixture of awe and caution. The human who had once been considered weak was now the symbol of hidden strength, a reminder that appearances could be deceiving. Calith stepped closer, his voice filled with curiosity. "Elias, can humans truly match the most advanced species in combat? Can you survive attacks that would destroy entire fleets?" Elias' eyes glimmered with determination. "Yes, humans have survived worse than this. We do not seek conflict, but when it comes, we endure and we win. You will see today that humans are not what the galaxy believes." Valith hesitated, then straightened her posture. "Very well, Elias Ward, prepare for engagement. But know this, the station, the coalition, it is all on the line. Do not fail." Elias' gaze was steady. "Commander, humans do not fail." The unknown ships accelerated, closing in on the station. Their energy beams glinted faintly against the void of space, ready to strike. Aliens rushed to their stations, preparing shields, weaponry, and defensive systems. Yet there was a subtle change. Where fear had dominated moments ago, now there was hope, because humanity was ready. Elias activated a series of devices embedded in his arms and torso. Thin lines of light traced along his skin, connecting with the embedded technology beneath. Sensors across the station began to pick up readings that no alien had ever seen before. Enhanced reflexes, rapid energy processing, and predictive combat analysis. What is he doing?" an alien officer whispered, barely audible over the hum of machinery. Calith's eyes were wide with astonishment. "He is activating human combat systems. It is technology fused with the human body, designed for survival, adaptation, and extreme conditions. I never thought it could be seen like this." Elias' movements were precise, deliberate. Each pulse of energy enhanced his abilities, allowing him to respond instantly to threats. His eyes scanned the station's monitors, tracking the approaching ships with incredible accuracy. Every calculation, every prediction was made in real time. Humans had survived because they had learned to anticipate and adapt, even under impossible odds. Valith's eyes narrowed. "Unbelievable," she muttered. She had spent decades in command, seen countless species in battle, yet she had never encountered anything like this. Humans were supposed to be helpers, support, not warriors. And yet here was proof, living, breathing, and extraordinary. The first warning blares sounded as the unknown ships fired their initial weapons. Energy beams struck the station, but shields held. The aliens scrambled, trying to coordinate their defense. Yet the difference was clear. Where others reacted with fear, Elias moved with precision and calm. He directed teams, calculated energy flows, and coordinated countermeasures. His body and technology worked seamlessly together, enhancing every action. The unknown ships, confident and aggressive, did not anticipate the speed and precision of human response. Valith watched, astonished. The human she had sought to shame was now saving the station, guiding the aliens and demonstrating capabilities that far surpassed expectation. She could not deny it any longer. Humans were not what she had been taught. They were far more. Elias' voice cut through the comms, calm and authoritative. "All stations follow human protocols. Focus on defense, anticipate movement, and conserve energy. We will endure and respond efficiently. The aliens obeyed, some hesitantly at first, but then with growing confidence. They had never encountered human strategy like this. Humans did not panic, they did not hesitate. They calculated, adapted, and acted decisively. The first wave of attacks struck, but the station held. Shields held, countermeasures activated, and the unknown ships were forced to adjust. Elias moved through the bridge, his presence calm and commanding. He did not shout orders or demand attention. His actions alone inspired confidence. Valith finally spoke, her voice quieter but filled with respect. "Elias, humanity, I underestimated you." Elias met her gaze. "Commander, humans survive and we adapt. That is what you are seeing now." As the unknown ships adjusted their strategy, the station prepared for the next wave. The aliens realized something profound. Humans had survived against impossible odds for centuries. They had hidden strength, endurance, and adaptability that no one had fully understood until now. Elias stood, calm and composed, ready for the battle ahead. The unknown ships were approaching, but the station was no longer unprepared. Humanity had revealed just enough of its strength to turn fear into cautious respect, uncertainty into confidence. And the galaxy would begin to realize that humans were not to be underestimated. The first skirmish was only the beginning, but already the hidden legacy of humanity was becoming clear. They were survivors, warriors, and innovators. And no force, no matter how advanced, would take them lightly again. The calm of space shattered with sudden flashes of light as the unknown ships fired upon the station. Energy beams lanced through the void, striking shields with violent force. Alarms screamed through the corridors, echoing against the metal walls. Aliens scrambled to their stations, their movements frantic yet coordinated. The command station, normally a place of routine operations, had become a battlefield. Elias Ward stood at the center of the bridge, his posture steady, his gaze focused. His scars glimmered faintly, thin lines of embedded human technology pulsing with a subtle blue glow. He did not shout, did not panic. His presence alone seemed to calm those around him. Every officer, human or alien, felt the weight of his calm determination. "Commander Valith," Elias said, his voice low but firm, "the unknown fleet is organized and methodical. They will try to overwhelm our defenses in the next 5 minutes. We must act decisively or risk total destruction." Valith studied him, her amber eyes sharp and calculating. "You mean humans can lead this station against them?" she asked, still struggling with disbelief. Elias nodded. "Not alone. But humans coordinate quickly, adapt to threats, and endure under pressure. We can defend this station if the crews follow my instructions." Valith hesitated, then finally said, "Do it. Show me what humanity is capable of." Elias activated a control panel embedded into his wrist. Thin beams of light traced across his body, connecting with the embedded lines beneath his skin. His reflexes sharpened, his senses heightened. His body had been prepared for this, human survival systems, long refined over centuries, now working in perfect harmony. "Focus fire on the lead ships," Elias commanded, moving swiftly between stations. "Use energy pulses to disrupt their formation, anticipate their maneuvers. Predict their attacks before they strike." Alien officers exchanged glances. Some had never followed a human's orders in battle, yet there was something undeniable about Elias' calm confidence. They began to obey, aligning their weapons and shields according to his precise calculations. The unknown ships surged forward, their formations tight and aggressive. Energy beams tore through space, but the station's shields absorbed most of the attacks. Elias moved with unmatched precision, guiding teams, coordinating energy flows, and predicting the enemy's movements. Every decision, every command, seemed to counter the alien fleet before they could act. Valith watched in awe as the station began to respond like a single, coordinated organism. Humans, once underestimated, now led the defense. It was as if centuries of hidden endurance and strategy were being applied in real time. "Elias," Valith said, her voice a mixture of respect and astonishment. How are you doing this?" Elias did not answer immediately. He scanned the monitors, noting the enemy's patterns. "We survive by adapting," he said finally. "We anticipate threats, learn from them instantly, and adjust. Humans endure, and we use every advantage to survive and succeed." The unknown ships fired again, targeting the outer shields. Beams struck with devastating force, but the coordinated response neutralized most of the attacks. One ship moved to flank the station, attempting to bypass defenses. Elias reacted instantly. "Divert power to the side shields," he ordered. "Launch automated interceptors to intercept the flank. Adjust energy flow to maintain balance." The alien officers followed his instructions, amazed by the precision of his commands. Interceptors streaked through space, colliding with the flanking ship. Energy pulses disrupted its formation, forcing it to retreat. The first significant victory was achieved, and the crew began to feel hope where fear had dominated moments before. "Impressive," Calith murmured, barely able to contain his amazement. "This is exactly how the legends described human adaptability in battle. I never thought I would see it firsthand." Elias acknowledged him with a nod but did not pause. The enemy was still pressing forward, relentless and coordinated. Yet the human at the center of the bridge seemed unshakable, his body glowing faintly under the pulsing lights, every movement deliberate and confident. "Prepare for the next wave," Elias said. "They will attempt to break the formation here." Valith moved closer to him, her respect growing. "Elias, I underestimated humanity. You are extraordinary." Elias' eyes met hers. "Commander, humans endure. That is all you need to know." The next wave of attacks began. Unknown ships surged forward in tight formation, their energy weapons firing in rapid succession. Alarms blared and consoles flashed warnings. Yet Elias remained calm, analyzing every movement, predicting the enemy's trajectory, and issuing commands with precision. "Lead ships focus on shield disruption," he ordered. "Secondary ships engage with precision pulses to destabilize their energy flow. Divert power from non-essential systems to weapon arrays. Timing is critical." Aliens moved with growing confidence, trusting Elias' guidance. Energy beams were reflected, absorbed, or redirected. The station responded like a living organism, coordinated and efficient. For the first time, many officers realized humans were not only survivors, they were leaders in combat. One unknown ship broke through the outer defenses and targeted a critical power conduit. Elias reacted instantly. He activated a series of embedded systems in his arms and legs, enhancing his speed and reflexes. Moving faster than any alien could follow, he navigated the corridor, manually rerouting energy, preventing a catastrophic failure. The ship's attack was neutralized before it could inflict real damage. The crew, watching from the bridge, erupted in astonishment. Humans had acted faster than technology alone could manage. It was instinct, training, and the hidden endurance of their species working together. "Unbelievable," Valith whispered. She had seen countless battles, fought countless wars, but never had she witnessed a single human take control and coordinate a response so flawlessly. "Elias, humanity, you are more than I imagined." Elias returned to the bridge, his movements calm and controlled. "Commander, focus on overall strategy," he said. "Humans adapt in real time, but coordination requires leadership. We will survive because we are prepared and focused." The unknown fleet began to falter. Their formation broke under the combined precision of the station's defenses and Elias' commands. Energy beams missed their targets, ships collided, and confusion spread among the attackers. Aliens on the station realized something profound. Humanity's hidden strength was not just physical, it was strategic, adaptive, and relentless. Valith felt a mix of pride and humility. She had sought to shame a human, to assert dominance, and yet the human before her had turned the tide of battle with calm determination and unparalleled skill. "Elias," she said, her voice steady, "you have changed everything. Humans are no longer underestimated." Elias nodded, his eyes scanning the remaining enemy ships. "No, Commander, humans are never underestimated again. We endure, adapt, and overcome. That is what defines us." The final wave of enemy ships attempted one last desperate strike. They aimed directly at the station's core, hoping to destroy the heart of the defense. Elias acted without hesitation. Every system in his body activated, every embedded technology line pulsed with energy. He calculated trajectories, predicted attacks, and coordinated every station defense with precision. Energy pulses, interceptors, and calculated shield adjustments converged. The enemy ships were overwhelmed, forced to retreat, and the station remained intact. Victory was achieved, but not without demonstration of human skill, endurance, and strategy. The crew erupted in applause and cheers. Aliens stared in awe, realizing that humans were not simply helpers. They were leaders, warriors, and survivors. The station had endured what few believed possible, and it was humanity's guidance that had made it possible. Valith approached Elias once more. "You have proven yourself," she said, her voice a mixture of respect and astonishment. "Not just to me, but to everyone here." "Humanity is extraordinary," Elias nodded. "Commander, we survive because we must. That is all we ask. Do not underestimate us." The station, though damaged in parts, remained secure. Aliens and humans alike realized that the galaxy would never look at humanity the same way again. Humans had hidden strength, endurance, and intelligence that no one had fully understood, until now. Elias stood at the bridge, calm and composed, as the unknown fleet retreated into the void of space. He knew this battle was only the beginning, but today, humanity had revealed just enough of its true capability, and the galaxy had begun to understand. Humans were not to be underestimated. The scars, the embedded technology, and the calm determination of Elias Ward were proof. Humanity endured, humanity adapted. Humanity would survive, the battle had ended. The unknown fleet retreated into the depths of space, leaving behind a trail of scattered debris. The command station, though scarred from the attacks, remained standing. Energy shields hummed softly, lights flickered back to normal, and alien officers moved about, checking systems and repairing minor damages. The quiet that followed was not peaceful. It was a charged silence, filled with awe, respect, and a hint of disbelief. Elias Ward stood at the center of the command bridge, calm and composed. His uniform, torn and repaired countless times during the fight, now hung neatly on his frame. The scars beneath the fabric glimmered faintly, a testament to the battles he had endured and the resilience of humanity. For the first time, the galaxy had witnessed the truth about humans. They were not merely helpers. They were survivors, strategists, and warriors of extraordinary capability. Valith approached him, her amber eyes reflecting a mix of pride and humility. She had spent decades commanding fleets, observing species, and judging their abilities, and yet in front of her stood a human who had changed her perspective entirely. "Elias Ward," she said, her voice steady but tinged with emotion, "you have done what no one thought possible. You have not only saved this station, but you have also shown the galaxy the true strength of humanity. I underestimated you and your people for far too long." Elias nodded, his expression calm. "Commander, humans have always endured. That is what defines us. We survive, adapt, and overcome. You have only now seen what we are capable of. This battle is proof, but it is not the limit." Valith's gaze softened. "I see that now, and the galaxy will see it as well. Humans are no longer to be underestimated or dismissed." Calith, the historian, stepped forward, his voice filled with awe. This changes everything. Legends spoke of human resilience, but seeing it firsthand, witnessing the strategies and the endurance, I can hardly describe what I feel. Humanity is extraordinary." Elias allowed himself a small nod of acknowledgement, though he did not seek praise. Humans did not endure for glory. They endured because survival required it. Each scar, each embedded line of technology, was a symbol of centuries of adaptation, sacrifice, and determination. "Commander Valith," Elias said, turning to her, "it is not only about surviving attacks. It is about what humanity can contribute. Our endurance is not just physical, it is strategic, technological, and moral. We do not give up and we do not break under pressure. That is what the galaxy must understand." Valith nodded slowly, the weight of her realization settling in. She had believed in her species' superiority, in the clear hierarchy of power across the stars. And now that understanding had shifted. Humans were no longer minor allies. They were equals, capable of commanding respect and shaping the future of the coalition. The alien officers moved about, repairing damaged systems, sharing reports, and discussing the unexpected outcome of the battle. Some glanced at Elias with curiosity, others with cautious admiration. None could deny the truth. Humans had changed the rules of engagement. They were not merely participants, they were decisive, adaptive, and resilient. In the quiet of the command bridge, Elias reflected on the battle. The unknown fleet had been aggressive, but not insurmountable. The coalition had underestimated humans for too long, and now the consequences of that underestimation were clear. Humanity had not only defended the station, but had done so with strategy, precision, and endurance that surpassed expectation. Valith spoke again, her voice calm but resolute. Elias, humanity has proven itself today. You have shown us that survival is not only about strength, but about intelligence, adaptability, and courage. The Coalition must update its understanding of your species immediately. Elias nodded. That is correct, Commander. Humans endure not because we are reckless, but because we prepare, anticipate, and act decisively. The galaxy may have overlooked this, but no longer. Reports began arriving from other sectors. Sensors had detected the remnants of the enemy fleet, scattered and disorganized. Communications from Allied stations conveyed astonishment at the human-led defense. Across the Coalition, officers and commanders began to realize that humans had capabilities far beyond what anyone had imagined. Valith addressed the officers in a formal assembly. Today, we witnessed something extraordinary. A human, Elias Ward, led this station through a crisis that threatened our survival. Humanity's endurance, strategy, and courage were critical to our defense. Let this be a lesson: underestimate humans no longer. Respect their strength, learn from it, and acknowledge it. Elias remained silent as she spoke. He did not seek attention or recognition, but he understood the importance of the message. Humanity's legacy had always been one of survival. They had endured extinction-level threats, adapted to impossible circumstances, and hidden their true strength to survive. Today, that hidden strength had been revealed. In the following hours, repairs continued. Crews worked tirelessly to restore full functionality to the station. Aliens and humans worked side by side, sharing knowledge, skills, and insights. The battle had forged new respect, not just for Elias, but for the human species as a whole. Calith approached Elias once more, his face serious. This will be recorded in Coalition history. Your actions today, your leadership, your endurance, they are beyond anything we have ever witnessed. Humans will no longer be considered secondary allies. You have changed the galaxy's perception. Elias nodded quietly. History will remember, yes, but humans endure because we must. Recognition is not our goal. Survival is. Contribution is. What matters is that the galaxy knows we are not to be underestimated. Valith, still processing the day's events, stood beside him. Elias, you have not only defended this station, but have shown the galaxy that humanity's past is far richer and more resilient than we imagined. We must reassess every policy, every assumption, and every plan involving humans. They are no longer a minor ally, they are essential. Elias allowed himself a small smile. Then let the galaxy prepare. Humans have always survived, and we will continue to do so. But now others will see what it means to underestimate us. Outside the station, the stars stretched endlessly. The unknown fleet had vanished into the void, but the ripple of their attack had left a mark on the galaxy. News of the human-led defense spread quickly. Reports, sensors, and transmissions from multiple sectors carried the story of Elias Ward and the station's survival. Humans were no longer shadows in the Coalition. They were visible, formidable, and respected. In the quiet moments following the chaos, Elias walked through the corridors. He passed crew members, both alien and human, repairing systems, recalibrating weapons, and restoring energy flows. Some glanced at him with newfound respect, others with cautious curiosity. Every step he took reinforced the truth. Humans were not just participants in the galaxy, they were survivors, leaders, and warriors. Valith followed, observing quietly. She had always prided herself on understanding strength, strategy, and leadership. Today, she had learned that humans possessed all of these qualities, and more. Their endurance, intelligence, and calm determination under pressure had changed her perspective forever. In the following days, formal recognition came. Coalition records were updated to reflect humanity's true capabilities. Elias Ward received commendations, not just for the station's defense, but for the demonstration of humanity's hidden strength. More importantly, humans were no longer relegated to minor roles. They were trusted leaders, advisors, and essential contributors in Coalition operations. Despite the recognition, Elias remained humble. He knew that humanity's true strength lay not in glory, but in endurance, adaptability, and the ability to survive and thrive under impossible conditions. Each scar, each embedded line of technology, each quiet act of preparation was part of a legacy that stretched back centuries. The galaxy had witnessed only a glimpse of that legacy, yet it was enough to shift perceptions permanently. Humans were no longer underestimated. The stories, the legends, and the truths of their past were now part of coalition history, influencing strategy, policy, and understanding across the stars. Valith, once skeptical, now stood as an advocate for humanity. She understood that they were not just allies. They were essential, capable, and unpredictable in ways that few had ever imagined. Her respect for Elias and for humans had grown beyond words. Elias returned to his station one final time, standing quietly as the crew resumed their duties. The battle was over, but the lessons endured. Humans had shown that survival required intelligence, endurance, and courage. The galaxy had seen it, and it could not be ignored. The stars outside the station stretched endlessly, silent witnesses to the legacy of humanity. Elias' scars, his embedded technology, and his calm determination were proof that humans were not to be underestimated. They had survived, adapted, and emerged stronger than ever. And the galaxy knew it now.